Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to enter into the record 2 letters of support for the Lake Tahoe Restoration Reauthorization Act. One is from a Tahoe stakeholder group, and the next is from the Placer County Board of Supervisors.
Without objection.
Thank you. Ms. Regan, one of the great things about representing Tahoe is being able to witness and be part of the tremendous spirit of collaboration that exists in the basin, that crosses party lines, crosses state lines, crosses jurisdictional lines, with everyone rowing in the same direction to protect something that is larger than any of us. And it's really served to maximize the value of the Restoration Act. And you've been central to that through your leadership at TRPA. I know you touched on it a little bit in your testimony, but could you tell us a bit more about how active forest management is working at Lake Tahoe?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Congressman Kiley, for the question. Julie Reagan with the Tahoe Regional Planning Agency. Absolutely. We practice what we call in Lake Tahoe epic collaboration. It is really like collaboration on steroids because we have more than 10 federal agencies that work in the basin, the Forest Service managing 80% of the land. We have 2 states, we have 6 local jurisdictions, the private sector, the Washoe Tribe, and our many nonprofit and community member partners. So we've established what we really look to as a national model of landscape scale conservation across boundaries and working with the community in public-private partnerships. And we've been doing this now really in earnest for 30 years since we established the Environmental Improvement Program. And forest health is one of the top priorities of that program. And we've had 2 very significant wildfires over the last 17 years. The Angora wildfire of 2007 destroyed more than 200 homes in South Lake Tahoe, and that was a wake-up call to our community that this partnership must be strengthened and really advance the pace and scale of forest health treatments in the basin. And then the Caldor fire was a test of that collaboration and partnership in 2021 when about 10,000 acres were burned inside the basin and not one home or life was lost. And so we have invested substantial resources through the Lake Tahoe Restoration Act and through all other funds to treat 72,000 acres since that Angora wildfire of 2007, and that has made a difference. And that has also spurred investment from private homeowners to do their part, because it really is not enough for active forest management of public lands. Our local homeowners must do their part as well. So we've had 75,000 defensible space inspections over the last 15 years, and our local businesses are partaking in making sure their properties are hardened and safe from wildfire as well. Because when that fire rolled into the Tahoe Basin, many thought it would never get over a wall of granite, but we are living in the era of mega fires. We have a wildfire crisis, particularly in the country, but particularly in the western U.S., and what we have seen in action is that the partnerships and the collaboration in place with the backing and really the backbone support of the federal government has made a huge difference in protecting our communities, but also protecting this irreplaceable natural resource. So thank you for the question.
Certainly irreplaceable, and thank you for the work you're doing. Another threat that's faced not just by Tahoe, but throughout the West is the environmental and economic threat of invasive species. So could you tell us a bit about what Team Tahoe has been doing to combat the spread of invasive species?
Yes, thank you, Congressman Kiley, for the question. Julie Reagan, Tahoe Regional Planning Agency. Invasive species are a threat to infrastructure across the country, and since 2007, when quagga mussels arrived at Lake Mead in Nevada, we have deployed one of the most robust programs in the United States around aquatic invasive species. We have a prevention program where we inspect every boat that enters Lake Tahoe. So we've inspected more than 100,000 boats since we launched that program back in 2008. And when we find an invasive species, which we do, we have to decontaminate those boats before they can launch. We also have a control program where we manage invasives that are already in the lake, so invasive species like milfoil and other plants. And we are deploying one of the most robust programs, public-private partnerships, where we actually are getting federal support, but also private sector dollars from philanthropy and other funding partners to do those projects where we are having success in, for example, keeping Emerald Bay weed-free, which is one of the most iconic places in the United States. And so the Restoration Act, again, has been really providing backbone support for these programs. And it takes the cooperation of everyone. We like to say we're all in this boat together in this effort to fight invasive species because it's an ecological issue as well as an economic issue.
Thank you for your testimony and your leadership, Ms. Reagan, and I yield back.